Uh, yes, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the technical session 5B of 5th International Conference on ICT4SD. Due to pandemic COVID-19, we all are in good through a new normal phase. And the team of ICT4SD wishes you a safe and healthy time for you and your well-wishers. We are constantly trying to overcome the challenges that research community is facing at different level. We at Global Knowledge Research Foundation are fully committed to contribute and enhance the digital experience in the research activities. To continue further, this conference has received tremendous number of submission which crossed 1000 plus from more than 20 countries, marked through direct submission as well as from special sessions, out of which 340 papers were accepted by the technical review committee team, and we were only able to accommodate 160 papers in 2 volumes of the proceeding for this year ICT4SD publication. We once again congratulate you for your research work to be a part of the success story in fifth version of this conference. And further, I'd like to welcome our session chair, Dr. Naunis Sharma. Uh, he is a good friend of us. Dr. Naunis Sharma, we welcome you as a session chair. He is associate professor, Department of Computer Science and IT, IIS University. Overall, 18 years of experience he has. His area of research include web application, cloud computing, DBMS, big data, and data science. Yes, sir, we welcome you again on this platform. And now we are moving ahead towards our technical presentation session. So there are a few guidelines at the time of your presentation. I will unmute you as well as I will give the permission to share your presentation. So moving ahead towards our first presentation, I would like to call uh, Mr. Sobik to present a paper on automated dietary monitoring system or novel framework. Yes, Sobik. Uh, Now you can share your screen and you can unmute yourself.
Yes.
I have given you the permission.
Okay.
So, yes,
Okay. Good morning, all, and
morning.
hope you are all well in this pandemic situation. And I can share my screen so that I can start my presentation regarding the paper. And can I start?
Yes, please.
Yes. So basically, our topic is it is not full screen. Okay. Right now it is visible to all.
Yes, perfect. It is visible.
Okay. Thank you. Our topic is Automated Dietary Monitoring System, a novel framework. Myself, Sobik Bandyopadhyay, from Department of Computer Science and Engineering from MIT University, uh, Kolkata, MIT School of Engineering and Technology. My co-authors are from the School of Mobile Computing and Communication, Jadavpur University, and co-authors are Samuel Mahmood, Purnasa Chatterjee, and Sujandra Bhandari. Our For this presentation, we are having these are the outlines of the presentation of paper. We are having introduction, motivation, problem statement, followed by the proposed system, conclusion, and the references. So, during this pandemic situation, in case of the introduction part, during this pandemic situation, as all of us knows, in this scenario, there will be a immunity will be a big factor to make ourselves healthy in this pandemic global situation. Everyone. So, in this scenario, we need a dietary monitoring system by which we can monitor ourselves to make ourselves healthy. There is a healthy lifestyle and disease preclusion in socio-economic issue now. According to the WHO, as we are all are gone through with the current news is according the world, diet is an impact factor to gain the immunity and proper immunity and protect people from several calamities. And why we need a automated dietary system? Because based on the dietary monitoring system, we need the actual diet so that we can balance ourselves and we can get exact nutritional values to protect from different kind of diseases. If we don't have the dietary monitoring system, there will be cause of over diet or excessive weight based cause of that we can having the heart attack, stroke, cancer, breathing problem. If we don't get the proper nutrition value, then we can goes into the category of underweight. In that scenario there will be a obesity, organ failure, arthritis, pancreatitis, cancer, these kind of diseases we can having. So based to overcome all this scenario, to overcome the scenario of the excessive weight or underweight, we need require a balance in between a healthy lifestyle and a balanced diet. To monitor all this scenario, we need a automated dietary monitoring system. Why we are going for this one novel framework? Basically, according to the normal scenario, there will be a developing country in India. There is no proper dietary assessment system for the rural people in India. Despite of GDP increases from the 1991 50%, one third of the world malnourished children live in India. And whatever the present automated dietary monitoring system are presented nowadays, they are mostly biased, subjective, and inaccurate. In case of the Indian food style, because in Indian scenario, in case of the rural sector, there is a versatile texture and the structure of Indian food. During this scenario, current whatever the dietary monitoring system are present, that are not capable to accurately identify the food type, food intake, as well as the nutritional value. So it is necessary to build a user-friendly automated dietary monitoring approach that is not interfere with the with a person daily activity, rather than him or her easily adapt the system. Based on our system, we are going to basically propose for the Indian food data set. In this scenario, we are having a different structure, complex structure, and as well as the different kind of texture are present, and our system are perfectly suitable in this Indian food cycle. As well as we are going to propose this one, and we are going to implement it in case of the rural people of India, because in most of the underweight malnutrition children are found in case of the rural people of India. Our so be based on the all the complex structure and the structure of the Indian food, to keep in mind the Indian rural Indian scenario, our aim is to develop low cost, power aware novel framework for an automated dietary monitoring system using wearable sensor that can monitor eating habit, food intake, nutritional content of the food, and calorie intake, along with the feedback to the user. We give the feedback to the user, and we are having an option so that in case of the children or the patient, the feedback should go to the health worker so that they can monitor the system and do accordingly. The system is potentially applicable in Indian scenario and effective to analyze the versatile Indian food. Here come to our proposed system. Our proposed system basically consists of three basic components. Number one is body sensor network. Number two is remote server. Number three is web application. That is, you can say, mobile app. It will consist of body sensor network. This is the body sensor network, which will consist of a audio sensor, a camera sensor, and oscillatometer sensor. Here we are, along with the camera sensor, we are incorporated with a processor that will work as a single component, and it will work as a coordinator node inside the body sensor network to gather the information from the audio sensor as well as the accelerometer sensor, and via uh, Wi-Fi gateway, it will send to the remote server. In case of the remote server, we are keeping a nutritional database, a food database, and as well as the feedback database. In food database, whatever the information gathered from the audio sensor, camera sensor, and oscillometer sensor, we kept the information in the food database, and what we are storing each and every food item nutritional value inside the nutritional database stored in the remote server. So after the consume of the food and intake habit, we can calculate the nutritional value of a particular person. Based on that, there will be a feedback stored inside the feedback database, and then come to the mobile app by which we can, from the body sensor network, the data via Wi-Fi, it will goes to the remote server. It will stored in case of the information stored via food intake to the food database. Then we are calculate the nutritional value, and after that it will via a mobile application, a person particularly uh, take the chance to cross check whether the intake of the food is properly or not, or there should be some modification, and the feedback will goes to the body sensor network. It is for the normal person. Suppose we are having a children as well as the patient. In the scenario, we can give the feedback to the health worker as well. Next, come to the body sensor network part. In case of the proposed system, as I told you earlier, it will capture the information regarding the food intake and the eating behavior of a person. Why we need a eating behavior? Because eating behavior is very much important to monitor in case of automated dietary monitoring system. Suppose a person having a habit of weekend overeating or late night eating or excessive eating, that can be monitored with the accelerometer that is own in wristband. And in case of the body sensor network, as I told you earlier, during this scenario, during this case, we are using camera sensor, audio sensor, and oscillometer sensor. And here with the camera sensor, we are incorporated with a processor that will work as a coordinator node, and it is a single component which will gather all the information from the audio sensor, which will help to detect us whether the person is swallow the food or chewing the food. And oscillometer sensor, with the help of the gesture of the hand, it will identify the food intake monitoring, and with the help of the coordinator node, it will via Wi-Fi, it will goes to the gateway. And the entire task in between the body sensor network, it is intra-body communication made done within the Wi-Fi channel. And sensor, the main advantage of our system is that our entire sensor are working on the energy harvesting technology. In this scenario, as we know, whenever we are using the sensor, there will be a loss of battery. In this scenario, if our sensor having a less battery, then they can recharge their battery from ambient energy sources like body temperature, hand movement, and the light energy.
Yes, sorry, Sobik, but
Yes,
please
yes.
try to conclude in 2 minutes,
Okay, 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 okay.
please.
Uh, in remote server, we are having, as I told you, food database, nutritional database, and the feedback database. It will contain the nutritional value and data collected from the sensor. Now, web application, as I told you earlier, it can monitor by the particular person, or it can be monitored via patient or children in case of that scenario. This is the conceptual workflow of our system. Basically, it will start from the sensing the data, then it will goes to the food plate identification, food type classification, food volume estimation, nutritional value calculation, and eating behavior analysis, and at last the feedback goes to the user end. Our aim is that now advantage of our system is accuracy. Accuracy means, see, in case of dietary monitoring system, we can easily identify the food type by the image sensor or the camera sensor, the picture taken. But in case of the Indian food scenario, we are incorporated to make the system full accurate. We are incorporated the audio sensor as well the oscillometer sensor, because for example, suppose we are having a bowl of milk and bowl of curd. In Indian scenario, both in the color of white and both having the same texture. So with the help of the audio sensor, we can identify perfectly which food he is consumed. In case of the cost effectiveness, to make the system more effective, we are not using any smartphone device or smartwatch to calculate. With the If we can compromise in certain extent, then we can, with the image sensor or the camera sensor, we can monitor the entire food consumed. Energy aware, as we are using the energy harvesting circuitry, it will energy efficient and it is comfortable, because the camera sensor we are using, it is work like a batch, audio sensor work like a headphone, and normal wristband we are using. In the conclusion part, we proposed a novel framework for a wearable sensor-based automated dietary monitoring system, especially emphasizing on the Indian food intake scenario. In this scenario, we are many type of food having a same structure, same food type. In this scenario, our system is very much effective, and it is low cost, accurate, power aware, comfortable, and scalable. Our proposal is that in future, in midday meal in rural area, as we know, we are going to implement it in larger scale, so we are having more result. Due to the pandemic situation, we are gone through with the result, but not at full phase. Thank you. These are the references.
Yes, thank you, Sakib. Uh, yes, Dr. Navneet, do you have any question with Sabik? No. Okay. Do anyone have any question? Okay, thank you. So we can move ahead with our next presentation.
Yes, sure.
Okay. Uh, thank you, Sabik.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, we have with us as a next presenter, Om Dev Dahiya. He will present a paper on prevailing standards in requirement-based case prioritization and overview. Yes, Om Dev, you can continue. Yes.
So is my screen visible now? Uh,
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear you,
is
Om
my
Dev.
screen visible now? Yeah, a very good afternoon to all the dignitaries present on this online platform. I am Omdev Bhaiya with the presentation of my paper Prevailing Standards in Requirement-Based Test Case Prioritization and Overview.
Okay.
In this, I have arranged it in a manner where, in first part, I have introduction, then what are the objectives of the study, then the research methodology by which how I have reached my selected my papers, and then I have presented those papers which I have selected. Then there is conclusion, future scope, and then there are references. First of all, in this age of digital transformation, software-enabled devices has played a lot of role. Whether we are in our home or playing with any device, or we are going outside from bank to ATM, or every other devices we are interacting with, every device is operating on based of a software. So human life is very much dependent on software. So for that dependency, software has to be developed in a very reliable way. For ensuring the reliability and quality of the software, testing is to be performed. For performing the testing, some test cases are developed which will help the designers and testers to ensuring its quality standards, whether it has met its required specifications or not. So as the time goes on, suit becomes so large in size that it is not feasible practically and economically to execute that whole particular test suite. So various strategies were designed by the researchers, and in that there is a strategy in regression testing under test case prioritization, in which test cases are prioritized according to the their priority, that which particular module will be tested first, and these particular test cases will be most efficient. So my work is based on requirement based test case prioritization, as a software is built upon requirements. So actually we are when we are performing the checking those functionalities which are tested first, then there are lower number of chances that the the developed software will performed not bad on that and still work well. So, what are the objectives of study is that we have decided to select the papers and comprehensively study them and present the research findings of the eminent researchers in the field, those who have worked in the field. For this, we have a research methodology. We have selected for selecting the papers. We have used Google Scholar as a platform because almost all the reputed publishers such as IEEE Explore, Scopus, Recent Digital Library, and other reputed publications and conference platforms are proceedings are available at a single platform. So the search string which we devise is a requirement based test case prioritization. On we have how we have selected this search string because we have experimented various search strings while we encountered a thousand of papers, but we have to study only those papers which have fulfilled the requirement citation approach. After this query is put in the Google Scholar and papers were searched, we encountered a number of papers, and for selecting the available papers from them, we followed various steps, such as first, like we are searching in Google Scholar, we encounter there are a number of results are 10. So when we are going through these, first of all, we say whether the title of the paper matches our requirements or not. So if it requires, then it is selected. Then the selected paper will for the selected paper, we will do the reading of the its abstract and conclusion. When we find that it will be worth for our work, then again it is downloaded and it is read completely. So and when proceeding from first page to next page, we have seen that whether the relevancy to the topic papers we are finding are relevant to the topic or not. For example, we are on 70th page, and when we are clicking on 71th, we are finding non-relevant papers. We have ignored after that step. So after these, we are able to finalize 21 such studies which have fulfilled our design parameters. I will be presenting the work of those researchers. The first paper which I found on Shrikant and Williams of 2002. I will be covering papers which are selected from 2002 to 2020. The authors have make it a case prioritization approach for making it a cost-effective process and for early detection of faults. They have said that this is their primary work and they are planning to extend this work using their industrial data. The next data is of same authors Shrikant and others, in which they have proposed several factors for prioritization of test cases. They have demonstrated the efficiency of the technique in terms of fault detection rate. They have concluded that customer priority, which is one of the essential factor in prioritization based on requirements. Then another paper is of Zhang and others. In of 2007, the authors have performed a study to address quality testing issues and to enhance the satisfaction of the user. This study has assumed that requirements and costs are varying while developing a project. In the next paper of Srivastava and others, the authors in the study have prioritized the requirements instead of just prioritizing the test cases. They have stressed that testers must decide that the test cases corresponds to the requirements being targeted. In the next paper of requirement-based test case prioritization by Kavitha and all others, the authors have proposed an algorithm to use requirements information for prioritizing the test cases. They have demonstrated that their fault detection, and they have even used some industrial level projects to show how their technique is effective. In a work by Salim and Hassan, they have performed mapping of the test cases with their corresponding requirements to be tested. They have showed that this has eventually led to the complete coverage of the requirements which are designed for the project, and it will ultimately lead to the satisfaction at the customer end. In the Mia and others, they have demonstrated applied various search-based techniques for prioritizing test cases. They have performed it by considering the characteristics of the requirements. In the work by Salehi and others, the researchers have focused two issues in this study. First, on cost, quality, and efforts for a project, and using matrices that do not require code for evaluating. They have showed how requirement-based test case prioritization is efficient. In the work by Arafin and Ju, test case prioritization using requirement-based clustering, they have worked towards investigating whether the usage of information about requirements for test case prioritization is beneficial or not. The results prove that it is very beneficial, as by using that information, testers can easily identify the modules which are error prone. In the work by Muthuswamy and Sitharman, the authors have presented an algorithm that prioritizes test cases based upon requirements and various other factors. They have shown the effectiveness of the algorithm by comparing it with the other existing techniques. In the work by Ma et al., the authors have proposed a technique to readjust the order of requirements that are related to faults. They have performed experiments and their results showed high test effectiveness. In the work in Shrikant et al., where the author where we have selected some papers from the starting, they have using this they have extended their study. This is an industrial study of their prior study. They have concluded that they have used industrial data to observe the efficiency of their algorithm under different conditions. They have concluded that its usage in the industry will be fruitful in terms of scheduled delivery of the projects and in addressing budget related issues. In the work by Wang and Zhang, the authors have conducted this study following a history based approach for requirement priorities. They have used industrial projects and have shown promising results in terms of enhanced fault detection rate. In the work by Chapurta, the authors have conducted this study to lay out the factors that influence the prioritization of requirements. The authors emphasize this necessity as not all requirements can be met with available resources and time. And for that, prioritization of the requirements is also done. And when test cases are prioritization accordingly, corresponding with the requirements, then it will be definitely effective. In the Masade et al., in the work of Elza et al., the authors have proposed a nature-inspired technique for prioritizing the requirements. They have tested and compared their technique with other existing approaches and have proved the supremacy of their technique. In the work by Mossad et al., they have used the nature-inspired algorithm for prioritization of requirements. They have shown how their approach is much efficient by comparing it with other approaches. In the work in Hujina and others, the authors have reviewed the existing literature and concluded that how prioritization of requirements has led to developing a quality product with specified constraints. They have documented what are the various lags and shortcomings in the existing techniques, and have proposed what others and have laid an area where what others researchers can propose. In the work in Ambrin et al., they have conducted this study to document the current trends in the field of requirements prioritization. They have selected numerous databases for selecting their studies and have shown the trends in this field and what are the future opportunities in it. In the work in Nasin and others, the authors have proposed a technique for ranking the requirements. They have shown how project estimation time is reduced and the timely delivery of product is ensured. Their study have shown new dimension in prioritizing the requirements. In the work by Zarzabek and others, the authors in their research work have provided a method to resolve the defects with manageable efforts which were found while performing regression testing. They
Yes,
have defined how requirements should be
sorry,
mapped corresponding.
sorry,
Yes,
Omdev,
sir.
but please move
Yes,
towards
sir.
the conclusion.
Yes, sir. These are the authors, and there's a list of the publications which I have selected. And in the conclusion part and in the future scope part, in this paper, current research and existing literature in the field of requirement-based description proposed by researchers have been documented. By this, the current state of art in this domain has been presented. As in the software testing sphere, a significant role is played by the requirements. The developers and end users define the definition of requirements prioritization. There are various studies which have highlighted that mapping the test cases to their corresponding requirements to be tested will eventually lead to a complete coverage of the requirements framed for the project, and this will eventually lead to the customer satisfaction. This study will serve as a platform for the source of information to the aspiring researchers in this field to go through the existing literature and will aid in proposing new and effective techniques. The future direction of this study will try to perform experimental comparisons and put the results more systematically and experimentally. Thank you.
Yes, thank you,
Uh,
Omdev. Yes,
that
sir.
would be all from my side.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello,
Uh,
sir.
Omdevji, you have presented and conclude all the research papers in a nice way. But my
Yes.
question, not the question, can you conclude all the reviews within 2 lines? What is your opinion after reviewing so many papers on your topic?
My review, my purpose for this is a system is developed on basis of its requirements. So when test case prioritization is done and test cases are designed that which will these test cases will target those requirements of the users in a very first manner on a priority basis. Then those error were discovered at an early stage, and the software software will be termed as a reliable one.
Okay. Okay. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Umdev. So
Thank you, sir.
if anyone has any question, you can write into the chat box. So might be presenter will give answer in that. So we are moving towards our next presentation. Next presentation will be presented by uh, Seema. She will present a paper on hybridization of artificial bee colony algorithm with estimation of distribution algorithm for minimum weight domination set problem. Yes, Seema, now you can start your presentation.
Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Uh, yes, we can see, but still presentation is not there.
That's fine because it's PDF.
Okay. Can you share your screen again? Yes, perfect. Now it is visible.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Seema Shigankar, and my topic for today is hybridization of ABC algorithm with estimation of distribution algorithm for minimum weighted dominating set. So this is the agenda for today. Okay, so let me just introduce MWDS. So MWDS is a classic NP optimization problem. Okay, such that each node of the graph either belongs to the dominating set or is adjacent to the to a node in the dominating set.
Sorry, Seema, but you need to share your screen again. It is not visible.
It's of nodes. So applications of MWDS are formation of backbone for wireless network, clustering of wireless network, intrusion detection in ad hoc networks, placement of wavelength in wavelength converters. So basically consider a wireless network. So if you want to place routers on the network, then you can use minimum weighted dominating set in order to for the placement of the routers so that it can send a message in a single hop. So there are a number of algorithms which are proposed for the MWDS problem. Some of them are hybrid genetic algorithm and colony optimization, hybrid evolutionary algorithm, and ABC algorithm. So the proposed algorithm is hybridized ABC EDA for MWDS. So by combining ABC algorithm with EDA, we are able to guide the search process towards more promising solutions in comparison to the two constituent approaches. We have also used a solution improvement.
Hello. Uh, yes. Hello, Seema.
Yeah,
Yes,
hello.
you need to share your presentation again. We are not able to see.
Okay, fine. Can you see it now?
No. You need to do the share, your share screen again. Whatever process you had done before at the time of starting of a presentation, you need to repeat it that again.
Actually, my network is a bit slow.
Okay, no problem. You can continue with the audio. Yeah.
Can you see it now?
So, yes, it is fine. I think so. There is some network issue. You can start. You can go ahead with the audio.
Okay. Okay. Um, okay. So the population of solution is updated for every iteration using the three phases of ABC algorithm. That is the employee B, onlooker B, and the scout B phase. The ADA initializes the probability vectors based on the initial population. So what happens is that it takes the initial population generated by the ABC algorithm. It vectors which decides whether a particular vertex should be how likely is the vertex to be present in the best solution. So this keeps on updating and solution generated in the ABC algorithm partly by taking the elements from the existing solution and partly by using the probability vector. Each iteration presents the best solution for the particular iteration and updates the global best solution if it is better. The termination condition is the maximum number of iterations. The Hello? Hello?
Yes, Seema.
You're not able to hear me. It's becoming unmute again and again.
Yes, might be due to your network connection, but you can go ahead now.
The repair method converts an infeasible solution into a feasible solution. The improve method eliminates the redundant nodes from the solution and minimizes the fitness function. So this is basically the algorithm. So initialization of the population happens by generating. So basically, solution 0 is generated directly by using the heuristic supplied in the repair function, and solution 1 is generated by adding all the nodes and then applying improve operator. So basically, what it does, it will remove redundant nodes until it will remove the nodes which are not which does not really affect the feasibility of a dominating set. The two solutions are added since they may represent some of the best solutions in the solution space, and it would be ideal to explore the region around it for the optimal solution. The remaining solutions are generated randomly by adding nodes to it until it becomes the dominating set. So the ABC algorithm has three phases: employee B phase. In each phase, the employee B is associated with a solution. The neighboring solution is generated by using the guided mutation method, which uses the probability vectors used by EDA algorithm, generated by EDA algorithm. It applies the repair method to the neighboring solution in order to fix if it is infeasible. And it is then improved by using the improve operator. It checks if the neighboring solution is better than the original, and then it replaces it if it is better. So the onlooker B phase randomly selects solutions which are associated with the employee B and explores it even further. It generates a neighboring solution, same like the employee B, using the guided mutation, and then it is then repaired, and then the solution is improved. If it is better than the best solution, then it is replaced by that. There is a chance that the same solution is selected more than one onlooker B. In that case, it then replaces the original solution with the best solution explored by the neighboring solutions. Scout B phase, if the employee B is not able to generate a better solution in the in end trials, then what will happen is that a scout B phase will randomly generate a solution which partly takes the solution is then repaired in case of an mutation. The neighboring solution are generated partly by taking elements from the existing solution and partly by using the probability vector which is generated by EDA. So the EDA algorithm, basically what it does, there is a population which is generated by the ABC solution. So it selects the best, suppose if there is a population of 50, it will select the 10 from there and it will check which nodes are present in most of the solution. So whichever node is present in
Hello.
hello, yeah,
Hello.
hello,
Yes, Seema, please conclude your presentation.
okay. So basically, the main parts of this proposed algorithm are is the ABC algorithm, then the EDA, which is used to analyze the statistical information given by the algorithm, the repair operator, which which repairs a infeasible solution, and the improvement operator, which improves the particular solution. So uh, we have compared this ABC algorithm with the other approaches available in the literature uh, and use the standard benchmark instances which are used for the MWDS problem. A few instances of the ABC algorithm produce slightly worse results than the best known. ABC EDA performs better than ABC algorithm in computational time. As future work, we intend to explore new type breaking rules for existing constructive heuristics and altogether new constructive heuristics to improve the performance of our approach. Similar approaches combining ABC with EDA can be developed for other combinatorial optimization problems. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Seema.
Hello. Seema ji. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
We can. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Seema ji, what is you have developed some algorithm for hybridization of ABC and EDA? What is the percentage of improvement after hybridization of ABC and EDA algorithms? Have you proposed any new algorithm regarding that? Hello, Seema ji, are you hearing me?
Might be
Hello.
seasonal.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Seema ji, can you getting my voice?
Yeah. Yes.
No. No, it is fine. So we can move ahead with our next
Seema ji, you are getting
presentation.
my voice?
Yes, no need, sir. Might be she has some network issue. So shall we move ahead with our next
No issue.
presentation? Right?
Okay, no issue, no issue.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can continue with the next presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
So we all are from different parts of the India as well as from different part of the world. So might be that is understood. Some places there are some network issues. So thank you, Seema, for the presentation. So we move ahead with our next presentation. Next presentation will be by Sivani, and the paper title is a deep learning generative approach for speech to scene generation. Yes, Sivani, you can share your PPT.
Is my PPT visible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Adapa Shivani. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome each one of you for the paper presentation of a deep learning generative approach for speech to scene generation. Now, let me tell you the motivation behind choosing this particular topic. Since childhood, we have been constantly asked to understand and learn concepts, right? But oftentimes we find ourselves entangled with bunch of words which either don't make sense or are way above our understanding. Some of the reasons for this are due to a lack of knowledge of the language or simply failing to put together the words to form a meaningful context, because individually each human being thinks differently and thus may not be able to perceive the intended message by the authors. Another reason being our attention span. According to Microsoft research, the average attention span of human being is only 8 seconds. Additionally, those suffering from learning disabilities find it even more difficult to grasp concepts with audio and textual descriptions from the standard conventional method of verbal or written communication. So now, what could be the solution to the above problem? It's rightly said that a picture can be worth 1,000 words, since any visual medium like photograph, painting, animation depicts ideas faster than any other communication medium. Research has proven that visualization is a very effective medium for communication, since it enables humans to remember insights for a longer duration. Moreover, traditional methods such as manual scene composition techniques are tedious and time consuming because it requires users to learn special software or tools related to graphics. Therefore, exploring methods of efficient speech to scene generation is both interesting and highly beneficial in areas such as engineering, defense, art, game development. Given the context, the problem statement is fairly simple. This project aims at creating an efficient speech to scene generation using a deep learning approach. We have trained the model on a CARS dataset, which is obtained from Kaggle Carvana dataset. It includes around 6,000 high resolution images spanning over 16 classes, where each represents cars manufactured in a particular automobile company. Each image is associated with the detailed textual descriptions which were manually written. These images contain distinctive characteristics such as angles, colors, and lightings. Here is a small sample from the dataset. We have two images. On the left, we have an Audi car, which is gray in color, and it has various other characteristics, like you can see, like the model, size, logo, etc. And on the right, we have a Buick car, which is black in color. So now coming to the architecture, this image explains the overall high-level architecture of the model. So the terminologies used in here will be explained in the proposed solution. Let's say, for instance, that the user gives input as a white car, which is medium in size, to the web interface. Here, the web interface serves as the front end to the end user, which has been implemented using HTML5 web page with prompts to enable user to give speech input and further tweak the results before generating the image. After getting the input, we have a speech to text generator, which accepts input from the user and converts it into its corresponding text sequence. This text sequence is sent as a post request to the backend, where we have a Python script running, and where the textual description is converted into skip thoughts. Later, this is fed to the TagGAN model, which is a generative adversarial network conditioned to be trained along with images along with the text description, about which I'll be explaining further. And finally, the image is generated back to the web interface. So the proposed solution is divided into two major parts: speech to text conversion and text to image conversion. So the speech to text module has been implemented with the help of HTML5 speech recognition API, which enables real-time speech to text conversion at front-end level itself. The reason for choosing this particular module or technology as opposed to other modules like Julius, Verb to Letter++, and Deep Speech is because of its simplicity, its high accuracy which it generates, its easily integratable API module along with the JavaScript code, and its support for wide range of languages like Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, Gujarati, and various dialects of English language, which may lead to widespread usage of this project. Additionally, it uses Google speech recognition engine for processing. It also produces the resultant speech to text converted description along with its confidence value, as in the how sure the processing engine is of the given text description. We have also used skip thought vectors as I mentioned in the architecture. Skip thought vectors refers to encoder decoder model, which basically tries to reconstruct the surrounding sentences of an encoded passage. Basically, the encoder maps words to a sentence vector, and decoder is used to generate the surrounding sentences. They provide fixed length text representation, which enables us to replace any sentence with its corresponding vector of numbers. So as you can see in the image, for a given text input, like I could see the cat on the steps, it tries to predict the previous sentence and the next sentence. This can be true even for the passage. So here the previous sentence it tries to predict is, I got back home. And then the next sentence is, this was strange. Now coming to the TagGAN module which was used. TagGAN is a text-to-image generative adversarial network. So basic concept of GAN is it consists of two models which are forced to compete against one another called as discriminator and generator. So TagGAN is based on an AC-GAN. AC-GAN refers to auxiliary classified generative adversarial network, in which every generated image is associated with a class label. What TagGAN does is it extends this concept one step further with the application of text embedding of the textual description in conjunction with noise vectors to facilitate efficient image synthesis. This is the basic GAN architecture, which consists of generator, discriminator, the latent representation, and the noise vector. I'll give a short demo. This car has black body. This car has black body. It is small in size. This car has black body. It is small in size. So basically, we had a simple GUI with 3 buttons to start the recording, generate the image, and clear input. The input can be multi-line, and once the user completes speaking, we have a talkback mechanism to ensure that the speech-to-text conversion has happened properly. And if the user wants to tweak something, he can do in the text box. Once he clicks generate image, as you can see in the backend, a generator is built, and based on the text description given, skip thought vectors get generated, and then the generator with the help of the skip thought vectors generates the image as shown here. So these are the various results which we obtained. So since we have trained it for around 176 epochs. So as you can see, after 30 epochs, the object is not even visible, or it's not, nobody can recognize it's a car. But after around 90 to 120 epochs, we noticed that it was able to recognize white, black, and gray color properly. And around 150 to 176 epoch, it tried to recognize various other colors such as red, blue, dark blue, etc. So coming to the results, the inception score which we received is around 3.34 with a standard deviation of 0.10. So these results are for 176 epochs with a sample size of 20,000 images generated. The MSSIM score was not very good. So, but with more training, we expect to get better MSSIM score. So this model has currently been trained only for cars dataset, but it is capable to adapt to other datasets as well, as the main intention is to make this model more generic. So it can so that it is able to generate various diverse images, and this model can be extended to add a feedback mechanism wherein the end user can provide ratings to improve model performance. We can use some attention mechanism and capsule networks to further increase the quality of the images, and currently it just generates a 2D model. We intend to as well generate a 3D image for enhanced visualization.
Yes, Dr. Navneet, do you have any question? Uh,
No, sir, no question from my side.
okay, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Sivani, for starting your presentation.
Thank you.
Just just a one thing in the bottom of your screen, there is a menu bar. You can give a quick reaction for the presentation like this. Thank you. So we go move ahead with our next presenter. The next presenter is Gitanjali. Yes, I'm giving a permission so you can share your screen, and I'm unmuting you. She will present a paper on a framework for banana plantation growth using blockchain technology. Yes, Gitanjali, now you can share your presentation.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Gitanjali.
Yeah, just a minute.
Yes. Uh, Hello.
Yeah. I was just using phone. That's why. Just a minute.
Okay. If you
Done.
need time, then we can schedule the presentation after one presentation.
I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. Hello.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. You just do it with the next presentation. I'll just check.
Okay. Okay. Sure. So we move ahead with our next presentation. Next presentation will be presented by Smriti Singh. So we'll present a paper on relative study between technology to perceive hand gestures. Yes, Smriti, you can say your presentation. Yeah.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, visible. Please go ahead.
Very good afternoon, everyone. I'm Samriddhi Singh from CMRIT Bangalore, and I will be presenting our paper, Relative Study Between Technologies to Perceive Hand Gesture, on behalf of me and my teammates being Praveen, Shreyas, Urvi, and Mr. Chetan. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so all of us know the importance of voice. Voice is the most critical component of any communication. We also know that communication plays a very vital role in human life, as it helps people to express their ideas, feelings, and also at the same time helps us to understand the emotions and thoughts of each other. Unfortunately, this is not true in the case of people with hearing and speech disability. So our main aim is to develop a system for recognizing hand gestures and expressing it by using an audio signal. So this would in turn help to bridge out the communication gap between speech impaired and other people. We are doing this by tracking the region of interest with the help of a camera and detecting the target object by using object detection algorithm. So here the target object is basically our hand, and any gesture made by the hand are analyzed using different technologies. We have used different technologies to obtain the similar results and compare their performance and output. The technologies used are 6sense technology, the Haar cascade algorithm, and TensorFlow. Now, talking about technologies, let's start off with 6sense technology. 6sense is basically a wearable gesture that upgrades the real world around us with digital data and lets us use hand signals to interface with that data. It depends on the idea of augmented reality as it superimposes the digital world with the present world. Next, going on with the technology is the Haar cascade algorithm. So Haar cascade is basically an AI algorithm. It's AI-based object detection algorithm, and it's used to identify objects in an image or video with the help of positive and negative images. So the positive images are basically the images which contains the picture which we need as a classifier to distinguish. And the negative images are the images which are like everything else except the positive image, as in which do not contain the objects we need to distinguish to prepare the classifier. Next, going on with the technology is TensorFlow. But before TensorFlow, I would like to talk about Keras. So Keras is an open source neural network library written in Python, and it uses TensorFlow as a platform to run. On the other hand, TensorFlow is an open source deep learning structure created by Google, and it's designed to enable fast experimentation and deep neural networks. It focuses on being user-friendly and extensible. Okay, so now I'll be talking about the methodology which is common in all three technologies. The image processing performed so the main methodology which is common in all three technology is image processing. Talking about image processing. Image processing performs a certain procedure on image in order to get the improved image or to remove some information which aren't required, like some supportive information from the image. It involves a few steps, as you can see in the flow diagram. The first step being segmentation. So segmentation is nothing but the main objective of this step is to remove the foundation or the unnecessary irrelevant data by leaving only the region of interest, which is just the hand gesture shown by the user. Because that's like the primary necessary information of the image. So its main aim is just to get the region of interest and remove all the supportive information. Also, the RGB shades are extracted in order to recognize the presence of the image, like so that the sharp and discontinuous image. Next comes edge detection. So Edge detection basically smoothens the image with the Gaussian channel to decrease the noise and undesirable surfaces. It is chosen to the point where all the edge components are kept while the greater part of the noise is removed. Next on the flow diagram is we're going to talk about feature detection. The feature detection comprises of three most important steps. The first one being feature extraction. So feature extraction, the main aim of it is to remove or like to extract the significant data from the image. In other words, it can be said that it separates the desired and unwanted data from the image. Next is feature description, sorry. Next is the feature description. It encodes interesting information into the series of number and goes about an arrangement that can be utilized to separate one component from another. Then comes feature matching. So this method finds like comparing the features of two comparative image based on the search distance. That's basic. And then it basically classifies the image based on the predictions. And after classifying the image, we label the image, and the image has the labeled image is returned as an audio signal by the speakers. Okay, so the data set. The data set consists of 26 different types of images, each folder having around 250 to 300 images on which our model has been trained. So each image has been taken in a different light condition and different hand orientation to get a better result. Okay, so the gesture detected when the first image is basically the gesture recognized using sixth sense technology. As I told you, we have used 3 different technologies to compare the result. The first image is the gesture recognized using the sixth sense technology. So here the gesture is detected when the number of peaks in the histogram, as you can see in the graph here, basically based on the number of peaks in the histogram. The gesture library matches the histogram and it uses continuous internet connectivity. The next image here, image 5, is the numbers. So we have trained the model on certain numbers, and these are the numbers recognized using cascade algorithm. The hand gesture depicts the number of fingers that are detected using OpenCV. Once the gesture is detected, the prediction is done using the hard cascade model, which is basically trained using the XML file extensions. The predicted output of the same is being displayed as a text on the screen, as you can see here. Yeah, and the audio output is also achieved from the same, and we have used the PyTTSX library, that's a Python library, to get the audio output. The third image here is the TensorFlow output. So the TensorFlow Keras model was being trained with 10 different types of images, in which each image had 16,000 data. So before the model was trained, we had divided the images in the ratio of 8:2, with 80% of the data being the training model and 20% of it being the testing model. So I would like to conclude all 3 technologies used in this particular paper. We started our research work with the sixth sense technology. Although it had all the features to perform the required task, facilities like requirement of continuous power supply, internet connectivity, cost of the equipment, and things like these made us move to the hard cascade algorithm, as all of them were being too expensive. Utilizing the hard cascade algorithm had its own ups and downs. Features like gesture converted into audio signal was achieved, but the fundamental issue was preparing the model, as training does not occur constantly with hard cascade algorithm, and training the model was equally difficult again and again. Finally, we moved on to the TensorFlow methodology. So here the image was captured using OpenCV and Raspberry Pi was processing the images. We used the convolutional neural network, that is the CNN, to basically recognize the image, to classify the image, and features like object detection, as those are the main features of CNN again. We have used CNN, and then using CNN, we prepared the model. So based on the examination, we prepared the model, and an audio output was given from Raspberry Pi to the speaker. So yeah, this method had comparatively the better accuracy when compared to the other two technologies used above. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Smriti. Yes, Dr. Navneet, do you have any question?
Uh, Not from my side. Please
Okay,
continue.
okay, thank you. Yes, thank you, Samriddhi. So we move ahead with our next presentation. That is, that's just we skipped just before Gitanjali. Please, you can go ahead with your presentation.
Okay. A very
Yes.
good day to the dignitaries and the participants present. If agriculture fails, everything fails. So this is a famous saying by M.S. Swaminathan, who is the father of Indian Green Revolution. Myself, Gitanjali, research scholar in the Department of Computer Science and Application, Bangalore University, Bangalore. I'm pleased to present the topic, a framework for banana plantation growth using blockchain technology. The agenda of the presentation goes in this way. We have introduction, purpose, blockchain in agriculture, banana agrosystem, methodology, and the conclusion. The introduction, the use of data and information becomes increasingly crucial for the agriculture sector to improve productivity and sustainability. ICT substantially increases the effectiveness and efficiency of collecting, storing, and analyzing and using data in agriculture. But ICT does not avoid bias in the collection and use of data. Individuals operating on ICT always are motivated to use the data in a way that favors their own interest. An effective way of avoiding such bias is to make data manipulation difficult or even impossible by distributing the power of data management to a very large number of individuals. So, the power of this data management lies in the usage of blockchain technology. So we have proposed a banana agro model. So this is a system that monitors the growth of the banana fruit and its supply chain. So the blockchain technology is used to store the attributes of all the growth stages of banana. Hence, it provides accurate information on the path of banana growth, which is immutable and transparent. The main motivation or the purpose behind using this model is the purpose is to create permanent history of the banana agro data, and it helps farmers decrease production costs and waste by optimizing the use of the inputs and increasing the yields by improving the decision making ability. Also, it increases the confidence of the consumers. The technology used is the blockchain. A blockchain is a peer-to-peer distributed ledger formed by consent combined with the system for sensible contracts. Blockchain is used to build a present-day generation of transactional applications that establish trust, liability, transparency at their core. Blockchain exists as a specific kind or a set of distributed ledger technologies that constructs a chronological chain of blocks. So therefore the name blockchain. A block refers to a group of transactions that are bundled along and value added to the chain at the same time. So we can conclude this like a summary of a blockchain is that a blockchain is a ledger in which agents take turns recording the information on the process of generating, transacting, and consuming a product or a service. So the ledger is collectively managed by all participating parties, typically through a peer-to-peer network. So a new record must be verified by the network before adding it to the blockchain. So any alteration or any alteration to the recording data should follow consensus decision making protocol, meaning that all the parties involved in the blockchain should agree on that. In addition, any alteration for one data, it's like it is almost impossible. Why? Because if we have to change one record, all the subsequent data records has to be changed. So this is merely impossible in blockchain. So blockchain is a transformative ICT that have the potential to revolutionize the agriculture sector. So the applications of blockchain in agriculture is that in food supply chain, blockchain technologies present an opportunity to transformationally improve the operations of agricultural supply chains, that is from farm to fork. Potential benefits abound for all supply chain actors, ranging from small-scale producers to the middlemen and to the end consumers. The next application is about agricultural insurance. Agricultural insurances differ with respect to how losses are assessed and consequently how payouts are triggered. So information on the riskiness of the agricultural production and production practices is asymmetrical distributed between farmer and insurer by using blockchain technology. Next application will be smart agriculture. Here it serves to store the data and information that various actors and stakeholders generate throughout the entire value-added process from seed to sale of producing an agricultural product. The next one is consumer confidence. Through the decentralized mechanism, the distributed accounting system of the blockchain is timestamped so that all information on the chain is transparent and unmodifiable. Okay, so this is the system that we have proposed. So we have proposed the system on one of the important fruits that is consumed worldwide, that is banana. We have chosen banana because it is a popular fruit in the view of the fact that it is highly nutritive fruit and almost all the parts of banana is consumed and useful in many ways. And in consequence with the significant utilization of the banana fruit, the quality of the banana fruit will be dominant. So even though the farmers cultivate healthy bananas, but farmers don't have any method to store the data regarding the method of their cultivation, their growth stages, the type and the method or the quantity of the pesticides or the manures used, and the harvesting details, the storage details, and marketing details, or any other disease that is attacked during the growth of the banana, or the ripening method. So all these data will not be stored by the farmer. Since it cannot be stored and produced when in need, the farmers cannot discern the quality of their produce. So and thereby farmers will fail to reach the right market and get a fair price for their produce. So to keep the track of these things, the quality of banana in all of its growth stages, we have proposed the banana agro system. So this system provides an overall scheme of banana growth and its supply chain system based on the blockchain technology. So hence it assures the quality of the banana, helping increasing the confidence of both farmer and consumer. So the methodology. In the methodology, we have used 3 layers of the system: data sensing layer, data storage layer, and application layer. Data sensing layer, here we use different range of sensors like temperature, humidity, soil moisture, pH level, and different other kinds of sensors. And these sensors are made to set up in the farmland, and it is monitored. And then the sensors can be read from the using microprocessor, and the data of the sensors which is read will be at last it will be stored on the blockchain. Data storage layer. So this is the principal layer of the system, that is the blockchain, which is used for decentralized storage of data. So at first what we do is we create a genesis block, that is the first block of any blockchain. So after the generation of the first block, further the data about the growth stages of the banana, that is the farmland, the farmer data, are added as the transaction array. The key role which is acting in the blockchain here is farm license. These are the different data that we will be adding. So first one is the farm license number. So as I told, this is the key role which will be acting in the blockchain. The farm license number is hashed using the SHA-256 hashing algorithm. And then the participants of the blockchains are farmers, wholesale dealers, retail dealers, and consumers. So as we can see here, there are a number of data that is added to the blockchain, but all these data are not added to the blockchain at the same time. Why? Because first one, the farm license number, the farmer name, the geolocation. The geolocation is the estimation of the geographic location of the area, and this is essential for precise field navigation of the farm where the farmer is cultivating, the farm area, the dimension, the soil type, and the type of banana he'll be sowing, and the seed or the sapling that he'll be stored on the data. So all these things will be first stored because these are the data that we will be getting on the first instance. And then after the growth starts, then the average temperature, humidity, the moisture data will be collected and that will be added. So along with the environmental data, the percentage of manures, pesticides used, that is also added. So the percentage of pesticides and manures which is added as a data, this will add on to the confidence of consumers to get to know how much chemically the banana is treated during the growth. So at the last stage, harvesting date, the type of storage method used to store the unripened banana, the number of days it is stored before marketing, and the date that is to be ready to be sold. These details sum up to the harvesting and post-harvesting stages of banana, which is essential to know the quality of the banana. So based on all the data stored on the block, a smart contract is written, and that is called as is healthy, and this is healthy will give a boolean value called as true or false.
Sorry, Gitanjali, to interrupt, but please go toward the conclusion.
Yeah, that's
and the
it.
result.
After
Yeah.
this is the conclusion. So the last layer is the application layer. So this is simple web application which is created to display the details of all the data which is stored on the blockchain. The data is fetched by using the farm license number as the key. So the participant can provide the farm license number and pull in the details of the banana grown in the farmland. The conclusion is that using this system is mainly what we do is it helps the farmers to decrease the production cost and waste by optimizing the use of the inputs, and besides it can also increase the yield by improving the decision making ability as well, and so that we can deal with the problems of food safety as well. Thank you.
Gitanjali, can we include these operations on some other fields other than agriculture?
Yes, sir. Actually, blockchain technology was first useful in the financial sector as a cryptocurrency. So since it is like immutable and transparent, when once the data is added, it cannot be never changed by anyone. Even if you go and change, what will happen is that the changed data will be in one more block, but still the permanent block, whatever the first data written, will always be there. That is the advantage. It is used in different sectors like IoT, like financial sectors, banking sectors, and so
on. Can you conclude your entire work, this presentation work, within 2 lines?
Yes, sir. Mainly we proposed this system. Why? Because my research was like IoT on agriculture. So I just wanted like whatever the data, like the farmers, whatever he uses, that will never be recorded. So the end users, like consumers, even if we know that it is a organic product or not, we just consume without even knowing if it is organic or not. But by whatever the system we propose, if it is into the market, what they can do is using the key, whatever the key given by the farmer, he can participate in the blockchain and he can get to know the history of the plant growth. So getting the history of the plant growth will help him achieve the confidence like, yes, this is the organic product and I can give the rate, whatever specified by the farmer or the middleman, and he can buy it without any consequences.
Okay, thank you, Gitanjali.
Okay, sir.
Yes, thank you, Gitanjali, for the presentation. So now we move ahead with our next presentation. Next presentation will be presented by Dr. Khushbu, and she will present a paper on attitude of the international students towards integrating ICT in foreign language learning, a case study. Yes, Dr. Khushbu, you can start your presentation. Yes.
Very good afternoon to one and all. Am I audible?
Madam, your voice is little bit low.
Hello, now.
Yes, now it's perfect. Yes.
Okay. Very good afternoon to one and all present. This is Khushbu from KIIT, deemed to be University, Bhubaneswar, Odisha. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing team for giving me an opportunity to present my study in the International Conference on ICT4SD 2020. The topic of my research is attitude of the international students towards integrating ICT in foreign language learning, a case study. And my co-author is Mr. Nafiz Mahmood. The outline of the presentation is introduction, literature review, research questions, methodology, results and discussion, conclusion, and references. But I start, I would like to put forth the significance of ICT in education. ICT is information and communication technology, and the outbreak of the pandemic COVID-19 has made us realize the importance of ICT in the field of education and research. We all are aware of the fact that ICT has proved itself to be the backbone of education during COVID-19. And the best example could be our own ICT4SD conference turned virtual. Now going back to the paper, the remarkable advent of ICT has made the world a global village and English a global language. ICT has made English a link language that connects people across the world. And with the exceptional growth of ICT in almost all the fields, the demand for English has expanded many folds. And at the same time, ICT has made English language easily accessible across the world as it exposes people to the real, authentic, and native English language, which was quite difficult at earlier times. In the recent years, ICT has been successfully integrated in the field of education and especially in language teaching and learning. The studies have proved that the integration of ICT in education enhances learners' motivation, learners' engagement, exposes the learner to the authentic target language, encourages autonomous learning. That means it gives flexibility to the teaching and learning process, that is at one's own pace and place, like we are doing now. The conference, we are presenting our paper right from our home, and it also develops language proficiency. The several studies on ICT in education reveal the fact that integration of ICT is impactful on language learning. But the question here arises, does ICT play a significant role in overcoming language barriers of the non-native speakers of English? There are several studies on the successful integration of ICT in education. But to the best of my knowledge, there is no study on attitude and awareness of non-native speakers of English towards the incorporation of ICT in overcoming the language barrier. This motivated us to explore the attitude and awareness of the international students of the university towards using ICT in overcoming the language barrier, as it has been observed that the international students of the university who come from the Middle East, Ethiopia, Syria, Nepal, and various other countries find it quite difficult to communicate with the other native and foreign students due to the lack of proficiency in English, and as English being the link language. The literature review was conducted, and the literature that was included was from the year 1995 to 2020, and I would like to, in a nutshell, I would like to say that the literature review on impact or significance of or the incorporation of ICT in language learning or in education shows that yes, it enhances the language learning, and the incorporation of ICT in language learning is in various forms like computer assisted language learning, mobile assisted language learning, that is, and technology enhanced language learning, as well as in the form of social networking sites. Now coming to the research questions or the objectives of the study. There were basically two objectives, and that were to study the international students' attitude towards ICT in language learning, and to explore the students' functional language learning experience using ICT. The methodology that was adopted was a quantitative approach, as the study was exploratory. So a questionnaire was designed based on the comprehensive literature review that was conducted. And the participants were the 100 international students of the university from the academic year 2017 to 2020. And out of 100, the 88 responses were obtained. The questionnaire was, as I told, the quantitative approach was applied. So the questionnaire was close-ended and was divided into 3 sections: participants' background, attitude to technology, and functional language learning. And the questionnaire was divided, was on 5-point Likert scale, and the data was analyzed using the SPSS software. So this was the result of the first research question, that was to study the attitude of international students towards technology in language learning in order to overcome the foreign language barrier. From the result, it can be concluded that 85% of the students had positive attitude towards the use of technology in overcoming the foreign language barrier. 10% of the international students were neutral, and 5% of the students disagreed. Coming to the second question, that was to study or to analyze the functional language learning experience of the international students using technology. And the result can be concluded as 55% of the international students use ICT to overcome the foreign language barrier. 23% of the students were neutral, and 22 disagreed. In the discussion section, we see that Table 1 clearly exhibits that that 85% of the international students of the university have positive attitude towards integration of ICT in overcoming language barrier. And Table 2 reveals that 55% of the international students use ICT in overcoming foreign language barrier in the form of watching YouTube videos to develop speaking skills, using different mobile apps to enrich vocabulary and proficiency skills, use English language for chatting and interacting with friends, reading e-books to enhance their proficiency of English, watching English movies with subtitles, and playing games, playing language-related games. Now, coming to the limitations and the scope, the sample consisted of only male international students, as the data was collected from the International Boys Hostel of the university. And the sample for the survey was selected from only one University of India, and hence further research can be done considering the international students from different educational institutes as well. And with a small number of participants completing the survey, the likelihood of generalizing the findings of the study is limited. And therefore, investigation with a larger sample is recommended. Coming to the conclusion.
Uh,
Yes, sir.
okay, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Coming to the conclusion, in conclusion, I would like to say that yes, students are aware of the benefits of ICT. They have positive attitudes towards its significant role. And students use ICT in the form of YouTube videos, mobile apps, movies with subtitle, ebooks, etc. Some students disagree or are neutral towards the functional language learning experience. It might be because they are hesitant of using ICT or are not very tech savvy. In such cases, trainings or workshops can be provided to the student in order to get them exposed to the benefits of integrating ICT in learning English language in order to overcome the foreign language barrier. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, Navneet sir, do you have any question with Khushbu?
No, sir. Go ahead.
Thanks a lot, Khushbu, for your presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So we move ahead with our next presenter, Mr. Junaid Alam. You can start your presentation. Yes, Junaid, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Junaid.
Hello.
Can you
Hello.
hear
Hello.
me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay, your voice is low. Can you please increase your voice, or you can keep mic near?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, your voice is very low. Can you keep your mic near?
My mic is too close to my mouth.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Uh, my screen is visible, sir.
Um, yes, now it is visible. You can go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Junaid Alam, and now I'm representing a paper, a multifactorial code coverage based test case selection and prioritization for object-oriented programming. My co-authors is Prashant Rats, Miss Satnam Kaur, Miss Amritpal Kaur, and Miss Sarvit Kaur. These are my first outlines: abstract, introduction, proposed work, experimental result, and the analysis conclusion. Firstly, we discuss about the abstract for this paper. Selection and prioritization of test case generates a series of test cases for object-oriented programs in a way that the selected test cases would have the maximum possibility of fault detection by ensuring the maximum fault coverage in the research paper. In this research paper, we have put forward an algorithm for the test case selection and their prioritization in such a way, which is based on the multifactorial code coverage for object-oriented programs. Now we discuss introduction of this paper. Testing code is an important part of software development process. Without software testing, software can't be successfully completed. It includes process of affirmation and substantiating this software during the testing of an OOP. Thus, the main objective of OOP testing is to deliver and maintain the quality of software product while installing the OOP at the client end. Due to timing and budgeting constraints, sometimes the exhaustive testing of OOP is not possible while executing the whole set of test cases to reduce the effort and costing of OOP testing up to some extent. Sometimes the prioritization of the selected test cases becomes very necessary so that while executing these selected more errors prone software, faults can't be revealed while executing these codes. Now we discuss our proposed program. The put forward test case selection prioritization algorithm prioritizes the selected suite of test cases by keeping in consideration the 9 code coverage testing factor. This test case will be selected and will be put in order on the basis of these fault detection coverage of inclusive of these factors. The considered code coverage testing factors along weight assigned as shown in table 1 with having value between 0 to 1. These are code coverage testing factors with assigned weight. Now you can see that the assigned weight of in the between 0 to 1. This algorithm is used for the test case selection and prioritization technique. First, for a given set of unprioritized test suite, T set T empty, repeat until T is not equal to empty. Now, this algorithm is start begin. Determine the code coverage testing factors covered by the test suite find value of TCCV for the test case. Recursively, code test case select. This is a function test case select. After that, arrange test cases in prioritized manner as per the code coverage. This algorithm is AND. This is our experiment result and the analysis. First, we discuss case study 1. In the first case study, for the put forward algorithm, a code in Java is being implemented for a class student with its attribute like student name, student roll number, its marks, and so on. In the first case study, a program written Java is implemented as the OOP to be testing using a put forward algorithm. This program in Java feeds in the information of student like name, enrollment number, various subjects. Then the program finds the total of marks for a students in various subjects. The table 2 shows the code coverage testing factor covered by test cases for OOP fault detection in case study 1. For the case study 1, finding the TCCV for the test cases for the given OOP by applying the equation 1, values are given in table 3. The errors found in the OOP in the case study 1 by the test cases in given table 4. The selected and prioritized order for the test case for OOP in case study 1 is given by applying the put forward algorithm is as TC3, TC5, TC2, TC1 and TC4. The efficiency of the put forward algorithm for the fault detection along with test case selection and prioritization is achievable by computing and then comparing the value of average percentage of fault detected and using APFD graph drawn for the non-prioritized and prioritized test case suite is given table number 5. Now we discuss case study 2. We have considered a program written in Java for various kinds of banking related daily routine. This OOP written in mainly in Java for a banking organization maintains the banking customer related data like customer name, his banking account, and type of bank account. There would be different object oriented classes that would deal with the different type of accounts like current account, saving account, loan account, and so on. The set of code would consist of various functions related to different types of banking operations, like depositing the money into a specific account, withdrawal of money from an account, and displaying account related to different type banking operations, like for depositing the money into a specific account. The put forward test case selection and prioritization algorithm prioritize the selected suite of test cases by keeping in consideration the 9 code coverage testing factor. The test case would be selected and will be put in order on the basis of these fault detection coverage of inclusive of these vectors. The considered code coverage testing factor alone weight assigned are as shown in table 1 with having value between 0 to 1. Every code coverage testing factor would be designated with a weighing factor value, which would denote the um, ability of a test suite. The table 6. The table 6 shows the code coverage testing factor covered by test case for OOP fault detection in case study 2. For the case study 2, finding the TCCV for the test cases for the given OOP by applying the equation 1, values are given in table 7. The errors found in the OOP in the case study 2 by the test case is given in table number 8. The selected and prioritized order for the test case for the OOP in case study 2 is given by applying the put forward algorithm is TC8, TC4, TC5, TC7, TC3, TC2, TC1 and TC6. The efficiency of put forward algorithm for the fault detection along with test case selection and prioritization is adjudicated by computing and then comparing the value of average percentage of fault detected and using APFT graph drawn for the non-prioritized and prioritized test case suite is given in table 9. This is our conclusion. On this research paper, we have put forward a new multifactorial based test case selection and prioritization technique for testing the O based on the code coverage of these testing, which improvises the rate of fault detection during the early phases of the object-oriented test cases. After carrying out the experimental study for both the case study, the put forward algorithm has provided us a much improvised result in terms of the rate of error detection at the early phase of testing in O. These are our references. Thank you.
Thank you, Zunit.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Dr. Navneet, do you have any question with Zunit?
No, no, no.
Okay, thank
It's
you.
okay.
Okay, thank you, Zunit. So
Thank you, sir.
now we move towards our last presentation. So our last presenter is Anuchit from Thailand.
Yes.
Yes, and he will present a paper on convolutional neural network and data augmentation for behavioral based biometric user identification. Yes, Anuchit, you can say your presentation now.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Shall I start?
Yes, please proceed.
Hello, everyone, in this
Hello.
virtual online conference. I am Anuchit Kit Pananakun from KMUTNB University from Thailand. Today, I'm going to present our research topic of convolutional neural network and data augmentation for behavioral-based biometric user identification. This topic I would like to present today. First one is introduction and biometric user identification using sensor data. So next is proposed methodology, and then I will show you the experiments and results. And finally, I will show the conclusion and future work. So, as everyone knows, almost everyone have a wearable device, such as smartphone, smartwatches, and smart glasses. Almost 70% of people around the world use at least one of smart device all the time. With advancement of wearable technology, small sensor embedding in the smart devices can capture our biology data, such as walking activity, something like the ECG, EMG. There are many practical applications from taking the advantage of the biology data, such as fitness and sport tracking, healthcare monitoring, and smart home monitoring. It is clear that the biometric user identification from wearable devices is challenging research problem. So in this work, we have proposed a deep learning-based method to solve the problem. Here is my proposed methodology. This diagram shows our proposed method composed of 4 main processes. The first process is a data collection. And then we split the data to 70% for training data and remaining 30% for testing. And the second process is a data augmentation. And then we will combine raw data and augmentation data to train a model. And final process is the model evaluation. In this work, we use a public available dataset called UIWADS. This dataset contains walking activity data for 22 participants. Each participant carry on an Android smartphone while doing walking activity for about 10 minutes. In the picture on the right shows some sample of the tri-axis accelerometer data composing x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. After we have some pre-processing, the 4 data augmentation techniques are applied to the raw data. These are jittering, scaling, rotation, and time warping. This aims to increase number of training data for training deep learning model. And in this step of model training, we propose the 4-layer, one-dimensional neural network as shown in the picture. In the experiment, we set different 5 experiments as following scenario. The first scenario, raw training data without any augmentation. And the first one, the raw training data will combine with the augmentation data using jittering technique. And the third one, raw training data combining with scaling data augmentation. And the fourth, raw training data with augmented data with a rotation technique. And the last one, raw training data with the augmentation data using time warping technique. And here is the experimental result. The results show that the scenario number 2 keep the value of FAR is very low. It means it's the best because FAR is mean the false acceptance. And for the FRR, it mean false rejectance. The scenario 5 is the best one. And I also measure evaluation from the automatic is accuracy, precision recall, and F measure. The results show that the scenario 2, which I use raw data combining with jittering technique, augmentation data is the best one, all of the method. So conclusion, this work presents a data augmentation framework to improve baseline of performance metric. We use working activity data of 22 subjects recorded by smartphone sensor. The results show that the jittering technique can improve the baseline performance of accuracy metric from 91.90% to 93.90%. So for future work, we have a plan to change a deep learning network from a one-dimensional convolutional neural network to the long short-term memory network. So now, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Anushit. Yes, Dr. Navneet, do you have any question with Anushit?
No. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Nicely presented.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Anushit was our last presenter. So now we move ahead towards the closing remark. Yes, Amit, up to you.
Thank you very much. I think you are able to hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. And once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to one and all present here in the sessions, because the people are from different countries also. So it's my duty to greet them with their own time zones. Dr. Navneet Agarwal, I really appreciate your efforts and really thank you. There was some confusion among the time for your session yesterday, but I hope it all
No issue.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for inviting me
And,
as a session
thank
chair.
you very much. And I understand that it is very difficult for session chairs specifically to sit down for 100 continuous minutes and to listen to the presenters and then comment on their work. If it would have been physical, it is much more easier in terms of talking and discussion, but I hope that these things will change soon. And session, as for chairing the session, we really, on behalf of the conference team, thank you very much for once again. And I request Mihir to please share a token of appreciation for you on the screen, so that we can just applaud you in front of all the audience. To Dr.
Yes.
Agarwal.
Thank you, Amiji, and thank you, Meherji. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And my next part of talk is towards the authors, and I have two messages for the authors. That one is, we have already sent the data for publication to the Springer, and we hope that it will take around maybe 4 months in normal circumstances, and maybe another month if it delays, or maybe before that even. So please be patient, as you are in a long span of these 7 to 8 months from submitting a paper to get the paper published. I understand that it is very difficult times, and you will have a lot of queries, and you will be eager to get your publication as soon as possible. But there is a whole process behind it. Half of that is completed, half of that is still remaining, and we hope that we will soon. If you are in the meanwhile, if you have any queries, please write to me, please write to our team. We'll be here to support you. Second thing is, this ICT4SD conference is growing with various researchers across the globe, and I'm happy to share that we have connected almost 4,000 researchers across the globe from 100 plus institutions for this conference from last 5 years. And this network, we hope that it will be more increasing, more happening, and more lively conference in physical mode in the year 2021. And this year we had more than 25% papers internationally, and next year we hope to get more international participants in physical nature at Goa. Till that time, thank you. And last thing is, you will also receive your certificates, payment receipts, as well as a thank you letter from our conference team just in few minutes from the session is over. And stay safe at your places, stay home till the time we are out of this pandemic. And I personally believe that this COVID-19 will soon become a thing of past, and we will again be back to our normal lives. Stay safe. Thank you very much. And once again, thanks Dr. Navneet Sharma for being present and being a valuable asset to our conference, and we look forward to your support in future as well. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Sure, definitely, sir. Thank you so much.